بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome dear students. This is Miss Layla Al-Jihani. Inshallah today we will start a new unit. Today inshallah we will start unit 6, culture shock. Okay? Today we will cover two lessons, lesson 1 and 2, listen and discuss, and pair work. Before we start, let's recall what we covered in our previous lesson. In our previous lesson we covered form, meaning and function in unit 5. We covered how do we use conditional sentences in imaginary, unreal situations in full statements. Also, how do we use wish, the verb wish, in meaningful sentences when we want to change the present, okay? Change the reality. Inshallah, in our lesson today, by the end of it, you will be able to describe customs of different cultures. You will see different traditions, different style of living, and you will learn how to describe these different customs and traditions. Also, you will use expressions of advice in a given context. You will give an advice, okay? I want you to look at these pictures. Look at these pictures. What can you see? We see different people. Do you think these people are from the same country? No. We have here people, you think they are from Saudi maybe, or the Gulf area, yes? And here, these people, where do you think they are from? They look like Indian people, صح? What about here? Do you think this is now, here, or it's in the past? In the past, do you think it's around the Arab countries and Asian countries? No, it's with how the man is wearing his uniform, and you can see it nowadays in London. So he's an English man. And here we have how the Roman wear their things. So we have Romans, Saudis, Indian people, and here we have Chinese people performing their traditional dance. So we can see different customs and different style, the way they wearing their clothes. Do you think they have similar lifestyles? No, every country, they have their own lifestyle, they have their own identity, صح? If we open our books, page 58 and 59, so we can start our lesson. Okay, listen and discuss. Which of the following customs are similar in your country? You can see on your book different paragraphs. We will go through them one by one, inshallah, and you will compare it to our life as Saudi, as Muslims, okay? Do we have the same lifestyle, the same customs, or it's different? Okay, we will compare it to our life. Before we start, we have this phrase, and you can see it on your book also. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. What does this phrase mean? What do you think it means? When in Rome, do as the Romans do. When in Saudi, we will change it. Do as the Saudis do. What do they mean? Do they mean we have to change our identity, or we should respect their tradition? If you go to a new country, you should respect this country's traditions and customs and follow their rules, صح? This phrase means when you are, let's read it together. When you are visiting a new place, you should try to act as the local people do, okay? And here are some tips. They provided some tips in paragraphs. So here, this phrase means that when you visit a new country, you should try to act as the local people. So you can't do something odd. Like if you go, if they have a certain customs, like for example, if you go to India, most of the people, they remove their shoes when they enter any house. Here, it depends on the house. Sometimes we do it, sometimes we don't. Is it okay to go to India and one of the houses, you don't remove your shoes, you go inside the house? لا, we should respect their tradition. We should respect their lifestyle, صح? The first part here, it's related to England. We will hear the text and we will read it while we are hearing the text, and I will give you some questions and we will go through the answers together. We can see a picture, we can see, or also on your book, page 58, you can see people in England. They are standing in a line waiting where? They are waiting in front of the bus stop. They are waiting for the bus, okay? Let's hear the text together, then we will go see the questions.
In England, it's customary to say, please, thank you, excuse me, and sorry. It's polite to say, excuse me, if someone is blocking your way, and sorry, if you accidentally bump into someone. And remember to stand in line, or as the British say, queue up, and wait your turn patiently. It's a good idea to talk about the weather, a favorite topic of conversation with the British.
Okay, we heard the text, we read it, we saw some traditions. Do you think we can relate to these customs? Do you think people here stand in a line when they are waiting to buy something, for example, or at the bank when they want to withdraw money, for example? Do we stand in a line, wait in a queue? Yes, we do. So we follow something similar. What about saying please and thank you? Do you practice that in your everyday life? Do you say please and thank you when someone does something good? When you ask for something, you say please, like when you ask your parents to do something? Yes, I think we do on our own way, okay? Let's see the first question here. What do people in England usually do when they wait at bus stops? When they wait at a bus stop, what do they do? They mentioned here something they do. Can you scan the text to find the answer? Yes, they stand in line. They stand in line, okay? Now let's see the second paragraph. It's in Mediterranean countries. It's in Mediterranean countries. Let's hear the text together, then we will go through the answer. The pictures on your book, you can see three men. They are around the dining table. They are eating, and you can notice the clock behind them. The clock shows that the time is really late. صح? Let's hear the text, then we will go through the questions and answers together.
Eating dinner late is a common custom in Mediterranean countries such as Italy, Greece, and Spain. No one goes out for a meal before 9 p.m., and most restaurants stay open past midnight. It is also common for people in these countries to take an afternoon break. Many stores close for 3 hours in the afternoon, allowing workers to eat with their family, rest, and return to work relaxed.
We heard the text. Now let's see. Here they described when we say Mediterranean countries, what do we mean about Mediterranean countries? They mentioned it here, such as they give us examples, Italy, Greece, and Spain. And their customs is to stay, they have their meals late. They don't have their meals before 9 p.m. And most restaurants stay up late. So this is one of their traditions. Do you think we have something similar? Do you think the restaurants stay open really late in our country? Yes. I think some restaurants stay until 2 a.m., I think. Now let's see the questions here. What are some Mediterranean countries? Here he's asking about the Mediterranean countries. Give us an example of them. Excellent. I just showed you here Italy, Greece, and Spain. The second question here, what do people in Mediterranean countries do in the afternoon? They mentioned a different custom they have in the afternoon, which is excellent. They have take an afternoon break. They have a break, okay, to relax in the afternoon. Now we have another example, which is in Japan. Let's hear the text together. I think the picture on your book, you have two men and a man is handing out a card, صح? A card. We call it a business card. He's handing out the business card to the other person, okay? Let's hear the text together and see the questions and answers.
In Japan, be prepared to exchange personal or business cards. When a person gives you a card, don't put it in your pocket right away. The person expects you to read it and even comment on it. It is impolite not to do so.
Okay, they mentioned something when you're doing business in Japan and the person gives you a business card. It's impolite to put it in your pocket. You should read it and comment on it if you have a comment. It's a really good card, it's nice, I like the font, anything, comment on the card. This is something considered polite in Japan. Let's see the first question. Where is the exchange of business cards or personal cards important? Where the business cards, when they exchange it, it's important in Japan. صح? The second question. Do you think it's polite or impolite in Japan to talk about the cards? When you talk about the business card, do you think it's polite or impolite? We just explained it now. It's polite to talk about it, okay? Now moving on to the paragraph. In Asian countries. In Asian countries, what happens in Asian countries? What are the customs? As we know, Asian countries are famous with rice, صح? I think it's the favorite meal in all Asian countries. And we can see chopsticks. We call it chopsticks here. They use it. Do we use it here in Saudi? In Arab countries? No, we don't use it. We use spoons or we eat with our hands, صح? طيب, the chopsticks, who do you think use these chopsticks? China, I think one of the most famous country that use chopsticks. Let's hear the text together and listen, see the questions.
In many Asian countries, people eat with chopsticks. It's not polite to play with chopsticks or to cut and spear food with them. It's rude to leave them standing up in a bowl of rice. When not using your chopsticks, place them on the chopsticks holder. If you can't manage to eat with them, it's advisable to ask for a spoon or a fork.
Okay, here they talked about how important to use the chopsticks in some of the Asian countries, and when it is polite to put it in a certain way when you don't know how to eat with it, what to do with it. Let's see the first question. What do many Asian cultures use to eat with? The Asian countries, they eat with? Excellent, they eat with chopsticks, okay? Let's see this paragraph. There is no questions, but I want you to understand what are they saying in this paragraph relating to Mexico, okay?
In Mexico, all university graduates have a title, and they usually expect you to use it. Don't forget to call a university graduate, such as a lawyer or an engineer licenciado.
Okay, so when you graduate from university, you have a title. You don't call this person with his name or her name. You have a title. This is the title, licenciado, I think. This is how they pronounce it. And do you think here, when you graduate from university, do you think we have a title? Do they call you a doctor or engineer or do people get angry when they don't call them by a title? I think it's okay. I think we are more humble, صح? We don't have a problem with titles. Let's see this paragraph, which is related to India. Okay, let's hear what happens in India.
Removing shoes before entering a home is customary in India. In fact, it is common practice in many parts of the world. Try not to spread dust and mud in the house and on the carpets of your host.
Okay, so the custom is removing your shoes before entering houses. So let's see the question. What is the custom they have in India? Removing shoes before entering a house. This is the custom they have. Another question, is removing shoes only a custom in India? Do you think it's only in India, or do you think other countries they do something similar? Yes, I think it's not common in many parts of the world, but we can see it in some countries. صح? Now let's see the parts which is related to United States and China. What do you think United States and China have in common? I don't think they have much in common. Let's see the paragraph. We can see a taxi, in your book you can see a taxi driver who is angry and the person who's leaving the taxi careless. صح? So let's see and read this text together.
In the United States, remember to make sure you tip porter, taxi driver and waiter. Expect to get a tip that is 15% of the cost of your meal. China is one of those wonderful countries where tipping's not practiced and almost no one asks for tip.
Okay, so here they expressed how in the United States and in China it is customary to give a tip, okay, give some money, extra money to taxis, waiters. Do you think we do it here in Saudi? Do you think it's related to our country? Do you think we do the same? Not much, not much. I don't think we do it much for a tip. The tip they have is 15%, okay, of like for example, if the fare is 100, I think you have to pay 15 more riyal as a tip. Okay, so when do cab drivers get angry in the United States? Can you scan the text to find the answer? When do they get angry? They get angry when they don't get a tip. When no one gives them extra money, they get angry. Okay, here we have customs in Germany. Let's hear the text together.
Being punctual is important to Germans. For business meetings, it is a good idea to arrive a few minutes early. Hosts also expect their guests to be on time. Being late or rushing makes a bad impression.
Okay, the custom here is being punctual on time, not attending late. Do you think we respect that here in Saudi? Or most people, they come late to classes, for example, if you look at your classmates. Do a lot of your classmates come to class late or no? Okay? Now, to check your understanding for all the paragraphs, we have two parts. Part A, which is related to vocabulary, and here you have to write true or false in part B. We will go through them one by one. We will start with A, the vocabulary. Write down 4 sentences in the article that use expressions of advice and recommendation. When you give advice and recommendations, you use some phrases, صح? And we can see it around the text on page 58 and 59. We can see it when they give advice, like it's a good idea to, then they give advice. Can you scan the text? Can you read it again? Try to underline the phrases they use before giving an advice. Please pause the video, think about it, compare your answers with your friend, and then let's see the answers here. In England, it's customary to say, and remember to stand in line. This is an advice. It's a good idea to talk about. Okay? In the United States, remember to make sure you what? You give an advice. Don't forget to call a university graduate. Okay, so we gathered these from the different paragraphs about different customs in different countries. This is it for part A. Part B, here we have also here more expressions. Part B, here we have comprehension. Answer true or false. So if the statement you read is true, correct, write true. If it's not correct, write false. Let's read it together. Number 1. It's not a good idea to discuss the weather in England. Do you think this statement is true? Look at the part related to England. Do you think it's a good idea or it's not a good idea? Here they said it's not a good idea. Is it true? No, the statement is false. Number 2, you are expected to take off your shoes in an Indian home. Is this statement true? Yes, it is. So we write true. Number 3, make sure you call everyone in Mexico licenciado. Is this true, the statement? Read the part related to Mexico. Yes, it is. So, not everyone, sorry. So the statement is false. Only university graduates, we call them by a title. Number 4, be sure to carry business cards with you in Japan. Is this statement true? Yes, it is. 5, remember not to be late for an appointment in Germany. Remember, you have to be on time, صح? So it's true. 6, you should always remember to tip in China. Is that true? Only in China? We tip in university and China, okay? For our pair work, we have 2 parts, part A and part B. Part A, ask and answer about customs in different countries using information on these pages. You have to look at the pages 58 and 59. Ask questions about different customs. Like, for example, what should I remember to do in England? What should I remember to do? Standing in line, okay? Talking about the weather is the favorite topic, صح? Always remember to stand in line and say thank you, please. They mention different ones. You can say and discuss this with your friends. It's polite to cut your food with chopsticks in Japan. Is this true? Can we cut with chopsticks or it's not polite? It isn't polite. We have to use it properly. If we don't know how to use it, we should use forks and ask for a fork or a spoon, okay? Now for part B, give advice to travelers on different countries. Give an advice. You have to give an advice for travelers who want to travel to different countries. Let's see the example. It's advisable to have a snack before dinner in Spain. It's advisable to have a snack before dinner in Spain, okay? Why? You can respond, okay? Because people have dinner very late and restaurants do not generally open until after 9 p.m. So discuss other customs with your friends, ask each other questions and listen to your friends' responses. So what did we, for your homework, you please do page 132. What did we cover in our lesson today? We described customs of different cultures. We used expressions of advice in a given context. If you can open page 82, we will go through the irregular verbs together. The verb 22 we have lose, lost, lost. How do we form it in a sentence in the present? Why team loses the match. Why my team, loses the match. Lost, my team lost the match. Lost, my team has lost the match. This is verb 22. 23, we can have make, made, and made. For the present, Jonas Hanaway makes umbrellas popular. Jonas Hanaway made umbrellas popular. Jonas Hanaway has made umbrellas popular. Now for the last verb we have for today, we have mean, meant, and meant. Okay? Age means nothing. Age meant nothing, and age has meant nothing. Okay? This is it for the irregular verbs. Thank you for listening, and inshallah I will see you next class.